Yes.
So Sam, you're forgive me because I don't have this directly, you're junior or senior?
Senior.
You're a senior. Of course, you did the capstone.
Yep.
There we go. Um, and you've been here since kindergarten, is that right? All right, so you're one of the lifers here.
Yes.
Very good. And where do you live?
Douglas, Massachusetts.
Douglas.
Yep.
Okay. You good? All right. So what's it like being a student here for 13 years? You're winding down your 13th year.
Yeah, it's been a journey for sure. I'm very grateful for my Christian education. And yeah, so.
So I'm going to push you to go a little deeper,
Uh-huh.
Sam. So truly, when you think of who you are today, who you were 6 years ago, and how you've grown, changed, matured, developed skills you didn't even know you had an interest in, perhaps. I mean, is that all part of your story here? And if so, what do you think of it? I mean, how has this school made a difference, I guess is what I'm asking you to reflect on.
Okay. Well, it's kind of hard to answer because I do a lot outside of the school. I am involved in drama and I'm here a lot. And I remember these days where I would be here till like 10 o'clock at night. And it's really a school where you're going to be busy all the time and you can achieve your goals and not just go to school, go home, do your homework, and do the repeat every other day. It's a school where you come to school, you do your work, you go to your sports, you go to drama, you eat here, you talk with your friends, you have fun, and you go home and then do that all over again. So it's not your typical school for sure. But in my experience here, I think just the faith-based learning is huge for who I want to be when I grow up. So, yeah.
Well, let's touch on both of those things that you talked about. So, what you described in terms of the kind of environment that it's like for students, and an unusual one at that, where versus most high schools, what most people think of when they think of high school. Why is it that way here? Is that more a function of students just being the kind of kid who comes here is a kid who wants to do everything, be involved in a lot, or is there something else that happens here at the school that really engenders that kind of active involvement and participation from students?
Yeah, I think it's both. The students here are very driven and hardworking, but also everybody around us wants us to succeed. It's not just they're not gonna just kind of leave you in the dust. Our teachers want us to succeed. They'll help us, and they want us to do as much as we can while we're here to get as much experience before we go out into the real world. So,
although it sounds like they're striving to make this as much real world connected
yes,
as possible,
for sure,
not insulated, by itself. So, and your capstone program, your capstone experience is some evidence of that, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. So this past,
I won't forget the faith-based piece that you did.
okay, yeah, excuse me. This past year, I decided to do a photo journal with African refugees in Worcester through an organization called African Community Education. And their whole mission is about providing African families with the means to be self-sufficient here in America. And this project was extremely eye-opening for me, and it helped me kind of formulate my opinions on immigration and what that means as a Christian. And I learned a lot about who these amazing people are, and it was just an amazing experience. So,
good for you.
Yeah.
And you've published a book?
I haven't really published. It's just so I interviewed 24 students. I just got to know them on a deeper level. So I interviewed them, I took pictures of them, and I kind of created a book with each page has a different student, just telling a little bit about who they are and a couple pictures to go along with it. So the ACE program actually will be using those books as donor gifts and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's outstanding. Good for you.
Thank you.
So you touched on this being a Christian school and how that's the word I'll use, awakened you in a sense to the life you want to have
Mm-hmm.
beyond the school. Am I right?
Yep.
Okay. You want to.
Yeah, so again, going back to my capstone, I learned that just because I live a privileged life does not mean that God loves me more. God loves us all the same, and it's hard to see that when you're speaking with refugee kids from Africa that left Africa because they were afraid that they might die. And that was hard for me to connect. Why would God want that to happen? And I think it was just really eye-opening for me to hear that God loves us all the same, and it's not just because he loves me more that I have this life. But going back to who I want to be in the future, I want to go into science, and science is a huge, huge culture and area where God is prevalent in Christian scientists, not Christian scientists, but like scientists who are Christian. And then there's also the other side where people don't believe in God and have their own explanations. So this school has helped me just have that faith-based learning where I understand where creation came from. I understand that kind of path of thinking. So
I'm going to touch on this. I'm going to go a little further, but on a little related way, Sam, and ask you, how does White Soul Christian? I understand how they help you to develop and deepen your faith. How does the school help to shape your character?
mm-hmm.
Character's a big thing in education these days right now, both in private schools, faith-based schools, and in public schools too. Character education it's been for a little while now and going to continue to be a big thing. You know, what does Whitensville do in that score for you and for others that you've seen?
That's a hard one.
And it might not be obvious; it might be indirect in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. Whit, do you have anything you want to immediately ask?
Okay, so you have been here since the beginning of time.
Yep.
And
Feels that way.
Well, it is that way. I was here as a baby, so.
how has that decision, each step of the way from elementary school to middle school, now in high school, how has that been a continued affirmation? I mean, what does it mean to be able to see your kindergarten teacher, your fourth grade teacher, your eighth grade teacher as you walk through the halls?
Mm-hmm.
What does that bring to you? Why are you really glad that you have gone the distance here?
Well, I will say that I don't really have a decision.
Well, that's fine.
So.
We all have decisions. We all have decisions. And you have made a decision, I'm going to guess, to embrace this school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that, how has having been here for this extended period of time really gained a power of its own?
Okay.
Try it. See what happens.
Sure. I think it is something, because this school, we're all in the same place. You know, in public schools, you have your high school down the road, you have your middle school here, and elementary school all the way over there. But your teachers keep up with you. You know, when you see them in the hallway, they say, "Hey, Sam, how are you? What are your plans for next year?" and whatnot. So I think it's really cool to be able to not just kind of forget who you had in elementary school, but to see them over and over again. So it's really a cool community where we're all together. And I think it's good for, as a high school student, to see little kids playing around because it kind of reminds you of who you were and helps you think of who you are becoming. So.
And I think a phrase that I've heard, Sam, is this idea that you really don't walk alone here.
Mm-hmm.
And reinforced, I just have to imagine, I mean, what does that provide you as you go out now to Hope College? How do you go there? What foundation, what is this school giving you in that regard?
Yeah, so over the years, I've kind of formulated these lifelong friendships that you might not get at a public school, because I've had friends since kindergarten, and they're always there for you. And this, like I said, this community is different than a lot of public schools, because we know everybody, and it's just cool, I guess. So. And going to Hope College, I think that this school has helped me a lot, in the means that socially I have a lot of experience in a lot of different aspects of life, not just school, but in a lot of areas. So.
And how did you come to your project?
Yeah, so 2 years ago, my sister did a project with Clark Street School in Worcester, which also deals with refugees, not just from Africa, but around the world. And I was able to help her out with that, and I had a real passion for just meeting new people and learning about new cultures. And I realized that I can use my passion for photography in all of my areas of interest. So that's kind of the main reason why I decided to do my capstone in Worcester with African refugees.
Are any of your images from that book, that piece here at the school right now?
No, not like up on display, but Laurel does have access to most of them.
She
So
does?
yeah.
Okay,
hmm
good.
And yeah, I also made a video that has a lot of them. So
And where is that?
in my Google Drive and on YouTube.
All right.
So.
Anything we haven't touched on, Sam, that you want to add?
No,
Done a great job,
really.
but
Thank you.
Want to make sure if there's any point about your experience here, you want to make sure to include that you get that chance.
I will say that a large part of my life is 4-H. Yeah, I've been doing 4-H for about 7 years now, and it's taken me all across the country showing cattle. And that's pretty unique for this community, because I've never met anybody who's shown cows that has gone to WCS. So, and the school is really cool to touch on that, and they're always interested, and they always want to talk about it and put me in the newsletter and stuff like that. So that's just cool to see that they're interested in who I am and not just how I'm doing in school. So
Indeed.
yeah.
It's awesome. Good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Sam.
Best of luck, all right?